Hi and welcome. In this series, you are going to learn a total of 5 different tips for different things that you can use within your classroom or your office to help make your life a little bit easier using Autocrat. If you have not downloaded Autocrat, go back to that first video in this series, the introduction video, get that downloaded so we can go ahead and get started. So attendance letters for your school may be done differently, so you're going to get to customize this as it fits your need. Some schools, I know they have it to where you have to send out an attendance letter whenever a student misses 3 absences or 5 absences, or you have to do a quarterly attendance update. So no matter what your needs are, you can make this template to fit your needs. So let's take a look. So what we have here is we have the template that was on that first sheet of paper. And so what you'll notice here in the yellow are things that you need to go ahead and fill in. So I put my name. Some people are weird about putting a phone number. I have a Google Voice phone number that I pass out. That way parents can still feel like they can reach out to me. If you don't want to put that, you can just delete that section. And then for this insert your name here, I actually write my signature down on a sheet of paper and then I upload it as an image. That way it looks like a legit letter. And then last thing is insert your school logo or your classroom's picture here. That way it is customizable to you, so you can tweak this however you need to. This is just a template that I'm giving you. So what you'll notice here is you have these tags. And so all these things that I have tagged are going to come from my Google form or my Google Sheet. My suggestion is that you start with this document of what all things that you need. That way you know what to put in your Google form and or your spreadsheet. So here we have the Google form that I start with. So the Google form is beneficial because you'll see in just a second when we set up Autocrat is that whenever I press submit, it triggers it to automatically send. If you have a spreadsheet, so let's say you keep up with it quarterly and you have to send out attendance reports quarterly, you can run the autoplay on your spreadsheet instead of doing it on a form trigger from a Google form trigger. So, sounds really confusing. I promise it's not. So what I have here is I have all those things that you just saw that I had tagged in my attendance letter. All of these fields are here. And so fun trick if you didn't know, is that on the responses that you have this button here and it automatically creates a Google Sheet for you. So I'm going to press this button. If you have never created a Google Sheet from that Google form, it'll ask you to create a new sheet. You'll press create. In my case, I'd already created it, so it just popped up. So you'll notice these right here are the same things that are tagged in my Google form. So here's how we're going to set up Autocrat. You're going to go to Extensions, Autocrat, Open. And so yours is more than likely going to say New Job, which is fine. Mine, I've already tested this out because you got to be sure whenever you're putting stuff out on the internet for others that it works. But I'm going to show you how to set this up from beginning to end. So I'm going to press New Job. And I'm going to call this Attendance Autocrat. I'm going to go Next. And so what you're going to do is the template that you just created, that is what you are going to select. So I'm going to press Autocrat. And here's my attendance one. I'm going to press select. Going to go to next. And so what you'll notice here is that parent name was tagged in this drop down box. You'll notice that there are 2 that don't have anything. You're going to need to fill those in. So I'm going to select today's date and then number of absences. It's totally fine if you don't, they should be exactly the same and then they'll link up easily. If they're not, it's fine. So here there was a pound sign instead of number, and here I had a capital T instead of a and lowercase t. So now my file name, what this means is this is what it's going to be called in your drive. Everything that Autocrat creates will be put into a file on your Google Drive, so it's there for forever. So I'm going to call this student name attendance, because that's what I'm sending out. I always do a PDF, that way it can't be changeable, and that way there's no discrepancies. Whenever you submit it, it's exactly what it is. Multiple output mode. I already have a folder of all my things Autocrat. If you had something else or a different folder you wanted it specifically to go to, you would create that and then choose your folder in your Google Drive. Dynamic folder, you don't need to do anything, so just next. Merge condition, I don't have any here, I'm going to put next. Okay, and so this is where if you send out letters, you can do it via email, and that's whenever you would press Share Doc. Otherwise, if you just want to have a copy of this in your drive or print them out to hand to your kids, you would say no. This means it would not email to anybody. So in this case, I do want to share it with whomever I need to. I'm going to share it as a PDF. I do not want the collaborators to be able to reshare it. When it says send from generic no reply, I put no because it's going to come from my email address. So it looks like I put together this document, which makes it look official. So I'm going to use parent email here, comma, student email. It is very important that these look the same as what they do up here. So I should actually put parent email address and student email address. My subject is student name, attendance. And what you're going to do here is you are going to type whatever message you need to put here. So like I would say, please see attached. And then attached will be the letter of what you just created. So when it says run on form trigger, that means that whenever you press submit on your Google form, it is automatically sent. A time is you can do it every couple of hours. I always use form trigger just because that's what I've needed it for. You may have something to deal with time and you would choose that instead. So I'm going to press save. And so what you are going to notice here is that once I submit my first Google form, everything will pop up. So let me go ahead and do that. So what you're going to see is I just filled in just random information. And so what you'll notice, what you didn't have before, was this column here. What you care about is this is the letter that was sent to both the student and parent email, because that's what you tagged in what you were sending it to. It tells you that if it was successful or not. So there is a way to do it to where, so we just did a Google form trigger. Now let's say you just have a spreadsheet of information, okay? Because you don't want to fill out a Google form every time. You just want to be able to fill things in. So let me do that real fast. So did I just copy and paste all of those? Yes, I did. I didn't have to make up names. Let's just be honest. So what you'll notice here is that I didn't submit a Google form for these. I just typed these into my spreadsheet. I can still use Autocrat this way too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to extensions, Autocrat, open. And I am going to press the play button. So what that does is for all the sheets that don't have anything in these columns here, it's going to run an Autocrat job for them. So all of these people are going to, these were all different people, obviously. All these are the same people in this case. But each one of these is going to get an email with the PDF. So it tells you how many it's running. And it's going to take a second, obviously. And so what you're going to notice now is in this column here, it now has all those same documents. So again, two ways you can do it. You can either do it on a Google form trigger, or if you have a spreadsheet with all information that you want to do an AutoCAD on, you can just run it by pressing the play button.